Hey everyone. So for those of you who need to take a seat in the practice, when we're practicing the yang side, Kundalini yoga specifically, you can always do this from a chair. And I want to give you a full, 25-minute, 30-minute how to modify my practice for where I am in my body and in my heart. So making sure that wherever you are in the class, at any time you feel anxiety or stress or worried about where you are, or if ever you feel pinching or strain, that you can take a seat in your practice. You can give yourself that time to take a time out, and as well as allowing yourself to come back into the practice in a space of ease and effort. So when you come to a seat, what you want to do is make sure, number one, that you sit on the edge of your seat. When we sit on the back of the seat, what we tend to do is we allow ourselves to round in the spine, and then we are not connected in our feet. So coming forward on your seat is really, really helpful. It makes you ground down in your feet, and it makes you use your core, both the front body as well as the muscles along the spine, to sit up nice and tall. Know that at any time that we're in practice and we're standing or seated and I'm asking you to, come into that strength. If you need to take a break, absolutely allow yourself to round and then come back into it when you need be. Allow yourself to sit and stand with that strength in the center of your body, right? Think of how that is. The center being you're choosing to stand in strength and encourage. It means you also have to give yourself that patience. So if you're feeling vulnerable or fragile emotionally or physically, give yourself some time to build that strength, to step into it, and then take a time out to come out of it, okay? So that's real important. The next thing is, at any time I'm doing anything standing, you can absolutely stand. You can allow yourself to go to the back of the chair, keeping your hands on the chair. So for instance, allowing myself to come here. So say we're high stepping or we're marching, right? You can allow yourself to do this, keeping your hands here so that you feel stable. The other thing is we do a lot of squats in practice. So taking your feet wide and allowing yourself to move here in squats where you feel safe. So allowing yourself to begin moving in your practice wherever you feel safe, okay? So it doesn't mean to say that if I stand, you have to stand. So let's go back to the squats. So when we squat, we always take our feet wide. So when I'm standing or sitting and I say take your legs wide, you will also do the same thing in your seat. The alignment that I want you to be aware of is that wherever your knees are, so I like to refer to a clock on the floor. Straight ahead of you is 12, and then you have 10 and 2. Think of, if your knees are looking at 10 and 2, your ankles are underneath the knees and the toes look in the same direction as the knees. This keeps the knee joints, ankle joints, hip joints safe and supported. Then allowing yourself to ground down. So you have options. Say we're twisting, grounding down in the feet, allowing yourself to twist here, okay? So if I were standing, it would look like this, okay? If we're allowing ourselves to go up and down in a squat, say for instance, I offer ourselves to come up like this and then down like this, okay? You would do the same thing here, but keeping your butt on the seat. So allowing yourself to come here, coming forward, tapping the inside, okay? So really, really to see how you can modify so that you can do it. Empower yourself. You can do it. So let's say, for instance, the feet come forward and we're high stepping and we're allowing ourselves to reach those arms up and we're bringing one knee into the chest. So it might look like this, coming in and going down, right? You can do the same thing from your seat, reaching up, bringing the knee in, reaching up, bringing the knee in, okay? Let's say, for instance, I'm doing something like kicking the heels to the bottom, but at the same time allowing ourselves to move like this, okay? So obviously from the seat, that might not be something that you can do. Therefore, you have two options. Number one, stand up, go behind the chair so that you can kick your heel towards your hamstring. Or number two, allowing yourself to just do the arms, whatever it is. Maybe one arm at a time, both arms at the same time, and at the same time, just lift the leg up. So the idea is that when we stand up, a lot of the times we're moving strongly, either rooting in the ground, moving the arms, or we're doing both. We're moving our legs and moving our arms. You can always do one or the other, so just move the legs or just move the arms, or allowing yourself to do both, right? So give yourself that allowance of, I'm going to make this practice work for me. So don't get frustrated, okay? That's the biggest thing in this practice. Don't get frustrated. There's no need to, okay? It's yoga. It's all about getting your body moving, and when we move the body, we move energy, right? So here, twisting, right? Here's one that you can do. Interlacing, just going back and forth. Let's say my pace and your pace. You're like, holy crap, I can't go that fast. Then don't go that fast. You can still move your voice. Say I'm using Hud Hari, right? You're still moving the Hud Hari with me, but slow down your body, okay? So that's really cool. Now let's say the practice that we're doing in the video, I go all the way to the ground and we're doing things with our legs, or we're doing back bends. When you do a back bend from your chair, because I'm aware a lot of us have, some days we just can't get to the floor. It looks way too far away, it looks way too hard to get there, and then to get up, oh my goodness, I just don't want to do it. And I totally feel you. So when we do back bends, think about what we're doing. In a back bend, you're allowing yourself to move into your heart. So here, whenever we do a back bend on the ground, you allow yourself to move in the heart, offering the heart up and open, okay? The other thing you might notice is that we do a lot of things with our arms and our legs, and you can do that too. So say we're on our backs and I have us touching opposite hand to opposite leg. You can do that too, okay? Let's say we're going wide with our legs, we're on our backs, and we're scissoring our legs. You can do that. You can totally scissor your legs from a seat, okay? So be creative in how you move and allow yourself to make sure I can smile, I can breathe, I can do this. So allow yourself to be your biggest cheerleader when you practice, okay? Biggest cheerleader. You know I'm there with you, right? So when I'm allowing this teacher, students, this guidance, I'm also your biggest coach. So I'm telling you, you can do this, because you know what? I know the mind is tricky and the mind wants to pull you away from what you're doing, right? And so here, give yourself that option, right? So if we're standing and you want to stand in the Kundalini practice, squatting can be hands down. Maybe we stay in a squat and you stay there and you want to play with the arms, whatever we're doing, go for it, right? If we're kicking our heels, this is where you would be. But to stay steady so that you don't tip over, right? Keep your hands on your chair. Maybe allowing yourself to tap your heart, right? So if we're moving our arms up and we're tapping our heart, you can do the same thing with your hands down, tapping your heart. If we're jogging in place, right? If I'm jogging in place and I got arms circling, what can you do? You can walk in place, or you can stay seated, tap your feet, move those arms in your circles, wherever that may be. The other thing that's real important when you practice chair is that you make sure your feet aren't gonna slip, right? So the foot or the feet of your chair is not gonna move anywhere. That's real important, okay? So making sure you have a strong, stable seat. The other thing is that when you move forward on your chair, that you can allow yourself to really anchor down, right? So if your chair is a little bit higher and you're like me, you have short legs, maybe find a chair that's a little bit more suitable where you can get those feet on the ground, okay? One of the favorite things that I like to do is a lot of shaking in the Kundalini yoga practice, and you can totally do that here. So think about when we're shaking our arms, shaking our legs, and if I have everybody standing up and we're shaking our whole bodies, you can totally shake your legs, wiggle it out, then steady here, start shaking the upper body, absolutely. Another thing that we do is a lot of wiggling, right? So let's just say we're seated with the soles of the feet together and we're allowing ourselves to bounce the legs. Here, when you're on your seat, you'll keep the feet on the ground, but you allow yourself to just wiggle the legs open and close. This is actually really, really good for your ankles and your feet, okay? So, I think that's it. Everything else you would be able to modify. One of the biggest things is if you find I'm offering something and you don't know how to modify it, you know what you can do? Allow yourself to sit tall, hands over your heart, moving your breath or your voice if we're using a chant in that class. By doing this, what you're doing is really stepping in your courage to say, this is what I need to do because I'm not sure. Therefore, I'm going to go where I am sure. I know how to use my breath. I know how to use my voice. And I'm going to steady and still in the body to keep the momentum of the practice. And remember, you can do that pausing, stepping into your voice, and how you communicate yourself, how you move the breath in and out of the body as much as you need. So with that said, if you at all ever have any questions, concerns, some feedback, please let me know. You can go to the forum page, right? So if you're obviously you're on the site, right? At the top, there is a link. It says forum, F-O-R-U-M. Click on it and you can ask me, right? And know that if you have a question, somebody else has that same question, but they haven't had the courage to ask, okay? Please go ahead and just throw it on there. If you feel a little shy in the whole sharing aspect, then go ahead and directly contact me. I have no problem with that. You can do that by emailing me. Email me at DM, as in Dawn Marie, DiVita, D-I-V-I-T-A, at yogadivita.com. Remember, we're in this together, and I want you to feel empowered in your practice. With that, I know you can do it. Sat Nam.